In number one, we want to write a percent as a decimal. Now we change a percent to a decimal by moving the decimal place 2 places to the left. Okay, so we have this percent, 5%. Now the decimal in the number 5 is to the right of 5. That's the same for every whole number, has an implied decimal point to the right. So there's our decimal point, and we want to move it 2 places to the left. So that would be one place would be right before the 5, and one more place we have to put in the 0 to hold that place. So 5% is equal to 0.05. Now let's write the decimal. Let's write the percent, 0.07% as a decimal. All right, so here is the percent, and here's our decimal place, and we're moving it 2 places to the left, so that's 1 place, 2 place. So we're going to have to add 2 zeros to the front to hold those places. So here's our decimal, and we have 0, 0, and then this 0, and then 7. So there's our decimal number equivalent. And now we want to write 0.27 as a percent. So here we have, this is a decimal notation, and we want to write as a percent. So we're going to move in the opposite direction. So we're going to move to the right. So when we change decimal to percent, move the decimal place 2 places to the right. So let's do that. Here's 1 place, 2 place. Okay, so as a percent, our decimal will be to the right of the number 27. Now, we don't actually have to include that decimal, since 27 point is a whole number, is the whole number 27, so we can just write 27%. Okay, once again, we want to write as a percent, so we're going to move our decimal place 2 places to the right. All right, so that would be 0.42%, and we can write it like this, or we can write 0.42%. Either way is correct. In number 5, we're finding 25% of 320. So to find the percent of a number, we change to decimal. So we're going to change this to the decimal 0.25 and then multiply. All right, so we want to find 25% of 320, so we're going to multiply 320 by 0.25. Okay, 5 times 0, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, and 1 is 16. Now let's multiply by 2. 2 times 0, 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 3 is 6. Adding the columns, we get 8,000. And here we have 2 decimal places, so we have to put 2 decimal places, 1, 2, in the product. So there we have it. 25% of 320 is 80. Now, 25% is 1/4 of 320, because 25 is 1/4 of 100. So if we divide 320 by 4, we do get 80. So that makes sense. Now we're finding 15% of 3.2, so we're going to multiply 3.2 by the decimal equivalent of 15%, that is 0.15. All right, so multiply 3.2 times 0.15 to get 15%. All right, so here we have 5 times 2. 5 times 3 is 15, and 1 is 16. And then we'll multiply by 1. All right, here we have 1 decimal place. Here we have 2 decimal places, so we have a total of 3. So we're going to put 3 decimal places in our product. So that's it, 0.480, or we can just write this as 0.48. So 0.48 is 15% of 3.2. In number 7, we want to find a percent. 9 is what percent of 12? So one way of doing this is rewrite, this is the part, and this is our whole number. So we can write the part over the whole. And set this equal to the percent that we're going to find over 100. So this is what we want to find. And let's just represent the quantity that we want to find with the variable x. So we can write this little equation, 9 over 12 is equal to x over 100. And then we solve for x. And so what we're going to do here is cross multiply like this. So we have 12 times x is equal to 9 times 100, that's 900. And now we divide both sides by 12. So we're doing a little algebra, even though we didn't learn algebra yet officially. This type of problem is a little bit easier to do if we introduce some algebra. So now we just have to divide 12 into 900. So 12 into 90, that's 7 times. We get 84. Subtract, we have 6. Bring down the 0. And 12 goes into 60 exactly 5 times. And there's our percent, 75%. Now let's just notice that this fraction, 9 over 12, could have been reduced, so we could start the problem by reducing. We could divide top and bottom by 3. And we get 3 over 4 equal x over 100, and then we can cross multiply and continue from there. We can even notice that the fraction 3 over 4, you might notice, is actually equal to 0.75, which is equal to 75%. So you might notice that right from the beginning and use this just to check your work, and then, proceed by cross multiplying. Okay, so you could reduce, or we did it without reducing, either one, and you should get the same 75%. Here again, we're finding a percent. So we're saying 1.4 is what percent of 35. So again, 1.4 is the part, and 35 is the whole number. And we're going to do part over whole. 1.4 over 35 is equal to x over 100. So we're using this little equation again. All right, so let's multiply, cross multiply this way. 35x equal this way. 1.4 times 100, we do that by moving the decimal place over 2 places to the right, because we're multiplying by 100. A 1 followed by 2 zeros. We just move the decimal 2 places to the right, so we would get 140. Now divide by 35. So we have to divide 35 into 140. And this goes exactly 4 times. So that's our percent. Our percent is 4%. So 1.4 is 4% of 35. Number 9 says 15% of a number is 12. What is the number? So this time we're finding the number, or we're finding the whole. So to find the whole, we take the 12. The 12 is the part, and we're going to divide by the percent converted to a decimal. So we're going to divide the part divided by the percent in decimal, and that'll give us the whole. So we're dividing 1.5 into 12. Now we have a decimal point in the divisor, so we're going to move this over 2 places. And here's our decimal to the right of 12, and we'll move that over 2 places. So we're going to divide 15 into 1,200. Let's put our decimal place at the end and up in our quotient and start dividing. Now 15 goes into 120 exactly 8 times. Make sure to line the 8 up with the end of the number 120, with that last digit, this last 0 digit. So our answer is 80. We have a decimal place over here, and we have a blank here that we have to fill in with a 0. So that's our whole. Okay, so 15% of a number is 12. The number is 80. Okay, that means that 15% of 80 is 12. Here again, we're finding what we call the number, or the whole. So we're going to divide. We're going to divide 0.13 into the part. So we divide into the part to get the whole. So 0.13 divided into 5.2. Move the decimal over 2 places, here and here. So we're going to be dividing 13 into 520. Let's put our decimal place here at the end and up in the quotient. Now 52 divided by 13 is exactly 4 times. Make sure you line the 4 up with the 2. And so we have a blank here before the decimal, and we're going to fill that in with a 0. So that's our whole. Our whole number is 40. Okay, so that says 13% of a number is 5.2. So the number, the whole, the number is 40. In other words, 13% of 40 is 5.2.